Welcome to DG IELTS. If you've ever felt that your ideas are clear in your mind but become disorganized when you speak, this video is for you. In IELTS, fluency and coherence are not about speaking fast. They're about speaking clearly and logically under pressure. In this lesson, you'll listen to a full speaking interview and focus specifically on how ideas are structured, connected, and developed. This video is part of a larger learning path here on DG IELTS, where each lesson breaks down one key element of performance. As you watch, pay attention to how each answer builds naturally from one point to the next. Let's start off by asking you, where do you live?
At the moment, I live in Dubai and I've been here for the past 3 years. When I first moved here, it felt quite intense because everything moves really quickly here. But over time, I adjusted and now I actually appreciate that energy. It keeps me active and motivated.
What do you like most about living here?
I'd probably say the opportunities. It's such an international city that you constantly meet people from different backgrounds, which I really enjoy. Professionally, there are also many possibilities, so it feels like a place where you can really grow.
Is there anything you don't like about it?
Well, sometimes the pace can be exhausting, especially during busy weeks. Traffic can also be frustrating, depending on where you're going. But overall, I think advantages still outweigh the drawbacks.
Do you think you'll stay here long term?
For now, yes, it suits my current goals and lifestyle. But long term, I might consider somewhere a bit more quiet, depending on how my priorities change over time.
Has living here changed you in any way?
Yes, I think it has. Living in a fast paced and diverse city has made me more adaptable. I've become more comfortable dealing with different cultures and perspectives, which I see as a positive change, actually.
Do you know many of your neighbours?
Not very closely, to be honest. We greet each other and occasionally have short conversations, but it's not particularly social. I think that's quite typical in big cities.
Do you prefer big cities or small towns?
At this stage of my life, I would say I prefer big cities because of the variety of opportunities that are available here. There's always something happening which keeps life really interesting. However, I can imagine appreciating a quieter place later on.
What do you usually do after work?
It depends how busy I am that day, or how busy I've been that day. Sometimes I meet a friend for a coffee, or other times I would just relax at home. I try not to plan anything too demanding in the evenings. I like to keep my evenings free if possible. I'd like to talk about my former university supervisor who had a significant influence on the way I think and approach challenges, not only academically but also in my professional life. I first met him during my final year at uni when I was working on my graduation project. At the beginning, I found his approach quite demanding and at times even frustrating. He rarely gave clear instructions or direct answers. Instead, he constantly asked me questions and pushed me to explain my reasoning and reflect more deeply on my assumptions. Initially, this made me very uncomfortable because I was used to being told whether something was right or wrong. However, as time went on, I began to see value in his approach. I gradually stopped looking for quick approval from others, and I became more comfortable making decisions independently. I also learned to organize my ideas more clearly before expressing them, which made my communication more structured and confident. What I find particularly interesting is that this influence didn't just stop at university. In professional situations, especially when I'm under pressure or dealing with uncertainty, I often apply the same mindset. I take time to analyze problems, consider different perspectives, and think through possible consequences before acting, rather than just reacting immediately. Because of that, I'd say his influence was more important, not just in shaping my academic performance, but in developing a more independent and reflective approach to decision making. This has helped me handle challenges more calmly and effectively, and it continues to benefit me both in my work and personal life today.
Why do some people have a strong influence on others?
I think influence often comes from consistency and credibility. When someone behaves in a reliable way over time, people naturally begin to trust them. It's not usually about authority alone, but about the perception that the person understands a situation well. In many cases, influence grows gradually rather than appearing instantly. That long term consistency is what makes it powerful.
Do you think young people today are influenced more by social media than by family?
In many cases, yes. Social media exposes young people to a wide range of opinions and lifestyles on a daily basis, which can really shape their thinking quite quickly. However, family influence is often deeper and more long term. While online trends may affect surface level preferences, family values tend to have a more lasting impact. So the type of influence may differ rather than one simply replacing the other.
Is influence always a positive thing?
Not necessarily. Influence can encourage growth and learning, but it can also limit independent thinking if people follow others without reflection. The impact really depends on the intention behind the influence and how critically the person evaluates it. Healthy influence supports development, whereas unhealthy influence may create unrealistic expectations. It's not the influence itself, but how it's used that determines its value, I think.
Can influence change over time?
Yes, definitely. I think the people who influence us at one stage of life may not have the same impact later on. As our priorities change and experiences change, so do the figures that we look up to. For example, teachers may influence us during school years, while professional mentors become more influential later on in life. Influence tends to evolve alongside personal growth.
Is it important to question the influence of others?
I believe it is. Questioning influence helps individual maintain independent thinking and avoid blindly accepting ideas. It also encourages critical reflection, which is essential for personal development. Without questioning, influence can easily turn into passive limitations. In that sense, awareness is key, I would say.
What really works well here is how natural everything sounds. There's no rush, no panic, and no sense that the speaker is trying to impress anyone. The ideas flow smoothly, and pauses are used in a relaxed way to organize thoughts rather than to search for language. You can also hear that ideas are built step by step. Instead of listing points, the speaker moves from background to reflection and then to a wider impact. That kind of progression makes the answer very easy to follow, even when it's longer. Another strong point is focus. Every sentence is clearly connected to the question, and nothing feels random or unnecessary. This helps keep the message clear from start to finish. Just as important is what's avoided. The speaker doesn't talk too fast, doesn't over explain, and doesn't force extra ideas just to fill time. There's also no memorized sound or overuse of fillers, which keeps the delivery calm and controlled. This is exactly the kind of fluency examiners look for at Band 9: natural pace, clear thinking, and confident control over ideas. If you want to hear more Band 9 speaking samples broken down like this, make sure you're following the DG IELTS channel. This series is designed to help you understand how high scores actually work, not just what they look like on paper.